All right, shalom, shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, all the men and the women who follow. This is the brother Kratazah from the GMS Nebraska camp, coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This lesson being entitled Be on One Accord. All right, and Lord's Lord, this is edifying. So let's start with Philippians chapter 2 and verse 2. It says, Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being on one accord, of the same mind. All right, matter of fact, let me start at verse 1. It says, if there be therefore any consolation in Hamashiach, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any bowels and mercies, fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded. Right? So, when you come into this thing, you're supposed to be like-minded. Yeah. So, it says having the same love, being on one accord of one mind. So let's get this word for one accord right here. All right, and the word is sympsychos, right? And it just says of one mind, one accord. But when you go into, the additional information, it says this word is made up of two words: sin, which is to get with or together with, and psychos, which is the soul, the self, the inner self, or the seat of the feelings, the desires, affections. So y'all need to be on the your souls need to be together. Your inner man has to match up with each other. You had the same desires, had the same affections, wanting to get out of Babylon, wanting the righteous to rule, right? Wanting Esau to go down, right? Wanting to really just get over America, right? Being on the same mind on one accord. And of course, that's having the same mind as Yahushua Hamashiach and the same mind of the Most High Yahweh, which Yahushua said, if you've seen my Father, you've seen me. Why? Because they were on one accord. They had the same agenda, okay? And we have to be a part of that same agenda in doctrine and in our daily lives. So let's get this is First Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, that ye all speak the same thing. Right? So being on one accord, speaking all the same thing. All right, not one brother teaching that the MOTB is the microchip, and then somebody else teaching that the MOTB is, I don't know, sin or something like that. That's why you can't when you're looking at the Israelites, you can't just put them all in the same box because we're not all on one accord. Similar to how the Catholic Church is different from a Southern Baptist church or a Pentecostal church, it's also called um, Christianity, right? But there's different boxes. It's the same, in its truth. You know, we're not all on one accord. We're not all speaking the same things. Now, you have within your great millstone everyone speaking the same things, speaking the same doctrine, learning the same doctrine, pushing the same doctrine, speaking the same thing, right? It says, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment, right? Because we know that this place is going to get judged. So, in order to be in the same mind, in the same judgment, we all would have to have the same opinion on the same different uh, facts of the matter. We have to be in harmony, so to speak. Let's get this word harmony. Yeah. Harmony. It says a combination of tones pleasing to the ear. Harmony, also the name of a musical instrument. The agreement, concord of sounds, also the name of personification of music. Literally means joining, right? One accord all together. It means joining. Use the ship planks. Also settled government order, right? Harmos means the fastening of a door joint or shoulder, to fit together. You know, fitting jointly together. Going back to what we seen with the psychos. Together with the soul, together with the inner life, the inner self, your inner feelings. That's being harmonious. Okay, everything working together. Everything iron sharpening iron. That's what being on one accord is. That's what being fit together is. You know, and I'm do this lesson, and I cut myself. Because I'm not always on one accord. I might fall out. Not as far as doctrine, but as far as just how can I put this? Putting myself first. Matter of fact, let's get that. Um, Philippians 2:19, it says, "But I trust in the Lord Yahweh Shai to send Timotheus shortly unto you, that I also may be of good comfort when I know your state. For I have no man like-minded who will naturally care for you, or it's like who will naturally care for your state. For all seek their own, not the things which are of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai's." Right? So it says that everybody's going to seek their own. He said that he's going to send Timothy, because Timothy is going to look out for you. He's going to be unto you as Paul would, because people look out for their own. Okay. And that's why I said, I'm cutting myself in this lesson, because I've looked out for my own, you know, and that's not something that I'm proud of, but I say that to say this, you know, that's not something that's supposed to be done. We should be like minded. We should be on the same accord. We should be all in the same spirit. But when you choose yourself, you're putting yourself outside the spirit, outside the gospel. You know, you're putting yourself outside of that hedge of protection. You're putting yourself over Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? So what if Yahweh Shem Yahushai, puts death over you, or doesn't choose you because you chose yourself? And we all fall into this, every now and then. It's nothing to be down upon or beat up yourself. Just get back on the horse, man. Get back in line. All right, you see, it's a single file line. You stepped out of line. All right, you were shoulder to shoulder with somebody. Just get your ass back in line. All right, and tighten up. Recognize, recognition that you were out of order, or not on one accord, or being admonished. Take heed. Bow your ear and listen. Because at the end of the day, whether you agree with it or not, it's the Lord speaking. So if the Lord is speaking, through through a man of the Lord, listen. Like I said, whether you agree with it or not, it's not being said for no reason. Everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual, and you have to take the spirituality out of everything. All right. Did I finish that? Yeah, kind of. So we'll get this Romans. We'll probably end it on this. This is Romans 15:5. It says, "Now the Most High, now the power of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one towards another, according to Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, that ye may be with one mind and one mouth, that ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify the Most High, even the Father of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, right? Wherefore receive ye one another, as Hamashiach also received us to the glory of the Most High. So, that was a mouthful. We have to, it says, verse 6, it says, that ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify the Most High. So that should tell you that, there's only one way to the Most High, and that's that one accord. If you're trying to come up on a different accord or in a different way, you're not doing it right, because the Lord has one accord. He has one way that things are getting done, one spirit that's going out, one vibration to catch. So if you're trying to jump on another bandwagon or come in through a window, parachute to the roof, you're not on that same accord. It says that ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify the Most High. Not double tongue, not over here and over there. It says, wherefore receive ye one another, as Hamashiach also received us. Right? So we have to treat each other as we would treat Yahushua, as Yahushua treated us. That's very important. It's very important. It's like Yahushua said, or the apostles, asked Yahushua, Lord, when did we give you water when you were thirsty? When did we give you food when you were hungry? When were you in jail when we visited you? And he said, when you did it to your brothers. So that's also part of being on the one accord, right? Being an active vessel, all right, for the Lord to use you, all right, for whatever purpose. We don't know, we just have to show up and be present. I mean, when you show up and you're present, then you can be used in the way that the Most High needs you to be used. All right, so that's really all I wanted to get with this. Lord, as well, this is edifying, and you got some kind of gem out of it. With that being said, Lord, as well, with that being said, we give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakar, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, of the men and the women who follow. Shalom.